I'm Scott Finlay, and welcome to the World of Sumo podcast, where today I'm joined by the runner and head honcho at the biggest sumo platform that's independently run by a fan on Facebook, Sumo Sumo Sumo, Mr. Broom Hilder, sumo expert extraordinaire. How you doing, Broom? Thanks for coming on, mate.
I was good, mate, until you said that. You don't have to lie.
It's because we're good friends, mate. I just like to make you feel good. Do you know what I mean? I've
Absolutely.
got very few friends, so I'm trying to keep the ones I've got.
Oh, wait, that's two things we have in common. All right.
So the day, mate, obviously I've asked you to come on and sit and
Yep.
come and talk a lot of crap about the current situation in sumo, a wee bit about the Banzuke, and give those professional sumo fans a wee something phase. So, mate, as an icebreaker, I said this before we started recording. I says we'll talk about Hokuseiho first. That'll give us somebody to verbally attack and bash, and it'll get the conversation flowing. So, mate, I would love you to start. Hokuseiho, my God, what the crap is that all about? What's your initial thoughts when that came out?
It's my biggest disappointment in so many ways. I wanted to believe in the fairy tale. Where a young kid meets his idol at an airport and comes up through the ranks and joins him and then eventually takes the reins. Takes over and becomes the master after the master's retired. That's what I believe, and I had no idea. It was a real big blindside that he was like, if it's all true, I don't know. But I was completely blindsided when I heard all the allegations that I've currently heard over the last couple of weeks. So, yeah, really, really disappointed. That's all I can say. I had really big hopes for him. Okay, he's a one-armed wrestler, but imagine if he ever started using that second arm. He'd destroy people. And I think he was only young, and he could have just smashed the sumo world if he ever got out of his lazy ways.
Mate, listen, I completely agree. I was saying, I think it was no less than 2 years ago, as he was coming up through the ranks, see when he was going on his undefeated streak. And I says, well, that's not going to last, but I see this boy as a yokozuna down the road. As soon as he learns to properly use his size under the tutelage of the great Hakuho, and then see when the report came out, and then it just started snowballing. I didn't report on it right away because obviously I throw news videos together for the guys because I love to make sure everybody's got the facts of what's actually happening. And see the more and more it came out, I just couldn't believe it. For the hitting with the sticks to trapping that laddie in the toilet, which is just borderline kidnap, mate. That's borderline false imprisonment, at least. Do you know what I mean?
I'm surprised that he's lucky the law didn't. You don't want to be on the wrong side of the Japanese legal system. They lock you up for 6 months without bloody trial or without charge. So he's lucky he didn't go down that road. If he's done what all the stuff that he has done, stealing and stuff like that, kleptomaniac, apparently.
Yep.
I was unaware of any of that. Yeah, I was unaware of any of that. I thought there was another bad boy in Miraguru stable, but I didn't think it was him. But that's what happens when the stable master, I was unaware of this as well, doesn't live with the boys. He's not up above ruling the roost. He probably lives in his $1 million bloody apartment somewhere in Tokyo, and he's not there under that roof disciplining. Right, and in complete control, and I think that's more of the issue in this case. And I wasn't even aware of that, to be quite honest.
Yeah. Right, no, mate, I didn't know that either, and that seems crazy to me, especially when you've just opened a hair, right, and you have got not only the reputation as being arguably the GOAT of sumo, but also the reputation of sort of poking at the rules a wee bit and this rumor sort of half truth of the kind of people who've got it in for Hakuho. A lot of Japanese guys, they do have it in for foreign people because they don't want them in too much. It just is the truth of it. So you would think that I took Hakuho as smarter than that.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
Think but it goes both ways. Sumo. It's okay. Some people in sumo have got out for Haku because they resent who he is and what he's become and his success. And everyone always wants to see the big man fall. But at the same time, I'm sure Hakuho wanted to really shake things up as well and give these guys a hard time. So I think there's fault on both sides. There really is.
Aye.
But
But
I was, yeah.
aye,
Go on.
but I was going to say there, mate. I was going to say, see, but we see with Hakuho's choice to do so,
Yeah,
that cost the younger guys a lot of heartache and pain, and you know what I mean. Like,
that's,
imagine what they were going through with their stable master not there. Where is
yeah,
Ishiura? Where is Enho? Where is, you know what I mean? Like Hakuho, like, is nobody? Is he doing it in
and the
private and
problem
making them stay quiet, or is nobody saying anything? Or like, you know what I mean? I'm
when the
just
when the
confused
boys
about
are
how
yeah.
nobody knew.
Yeah, well, when the boys are out there, for early morning practice, as the head guy, you've got reign of the place, and you can turn up later after the boys have done all their shinko, and meanwhile you're going through all their wallets, and that's what was happening, amongst other things.
Aye,
It's like the Lord of the Flies in a way,
mate.
He's a young
Honestly,
man. He's young himself, and he needs guidance, And here he
I
is in charge of it simply because he's the highest ranking Rikishi in the
do you
stu in
know?
the
Do you see
store.
your description there, Lord of the Flies? See that?
Yep.
That is like, mate, I wish I'd have spoke to you before I could see my news video. I'm sure I said it. I'm sure I called it the life and times, no, the times and crimes of Hokuseiho. Bloody
Mm.
Lord of the Flies. That's because that's exactly what happened, mate. Somebody
Yep.
who had been given the power. It's like,
Yep.
well, you could turn to that book and you could turn to that experiment with the prisoners in that jail where they gave some of them
Yes.
the reins to be the guards and some of them, and
Yep.
then they just took it to extremes. But then, of course, if we start going down that rabbit hole, we can then start looking at Nazism and all of that
Yes.
stuff, mate. If you really
Yeah.
start going
Yeah.
down that, because it does happen. There is a sort of
Yeah, definitely.
when
He's young.
somebody's not capable and so young that he is just not he was not the man to be left in charge. And then it comes out and all that he was a known bully in his high school as well.
Yeah.
So you would think that this would come into consideration when you leave him in charge, but
Mm.
who knows? Like, obviously, the Japanese outlook on life, the culture, it's a completely
Yep.
different way. So is the Mongolian one, and it's the Japanese and Mongolian outlook that's mixing there. So
Yep.
people like us, completely on the outside, with very limited understanding, is obviously missing a lot of things for this. But the point
Yep.
stands that the guy he was beating them, hitting them with broom handles. Hey, shout out for broom plug. And hey, he glued that wallet that lad he get bought. He was force feeding them burgers. I mean, that's just the
Yeah.
tip of the iceberg. Absolutely disgusting behaviour, man. Disgusting
Yeah.
behaviour. And do you know what? See, let me see before I don't stop rabbiting on. Let me ask you a question. A lot of people are
Yeah.
talking about how long Hakuho will be in the Kyokai, etc. Do you see Hakuho staying about? Do you see that happening, or do you see him maybe tacking a Hana down the road?
Well, I've heard a lot of people talking recently on chat forums and stuff like that, and they give him 3 years,
Same.
because he's so popular and he could put his hand to anything. He's probably got job offers now from lots of other bloody places, because of who he is. He's advertising power and everything else. He could do anything, and he's rich enough to do whatever he wants anyway. He doesn't have to rely on sumo at all, but I think he wants to. He still wants to bring the younger guys up. That's why he does the Hakuho Cup, which a lot of people resent. But I think it's great considering we only had 27 new inductees for this Osaka Basho. And the last one we had was 37. But they're on a downward spiral, and I think things need to change.
Aye,
It
well,
was the
that's.
last
Mhm.
Banzuke was the smallest Banzuke in, as far as I'm aware, in history. About just over 600 wrestlers.
I mean,
So
that's just
this doesn't help.
absolutely mental. That I was going
Yeah.
to say, this absolutely doesn't help. What young laddie who's soft and got a cushy life and can go and get a
Yep.
cushy desk job
I would.
is going to want to go in there to get beat up? off
Yep.
just random big huge guys over the small tedious things. It's crazy.
Which is why a lot of Japanese people are turned off by it, because they've got a good life. But people in Mongolia who really don't have Mongolia, a lot of them don't have the same standard of living as they do in Japan, and it's a bit harsher for them, and they're used to it, and for them it's a great way out of, probably poverty and probably unemployment and everything else that they might have to have back in Mongolia. But in Japan, it's a hard life. It's like
Right.
joining the army, but even worse in a
Right.
way.
Oh, mate. Absolutely, absolutely. It's a way of life. Do you know what I mean? Once you're in, that's you in
Yep,
permanently, and there's no
and they are.
way around the boundaries. And so for you to be caught like that, you're caught. You've dedicated your life to this sport, and then you're trapped in a situation of abuse, and it's
Yep,
hard to find a way out, especially for those laddies. Because I tell you this, see the boys who do join from Japan.
yeah,
They
yeah,
are they are like the cream of the crop in Japan. You're
they
not
are.
going to find any more dedicated or passionate sumo players in Japan than they boys joining the pro leagues. Why the hell would you do that? And I've got to say that I feel like Hakuho has really damaged a lot of things for himself by just not being more aware. Just at the beginning, at least, it's the very start, Broom. It's the
Yeah,
very start. If it wasn't the
yeah,
start and it was years on, oh, he's getting a bit lazy. He's got all these things going on. He's been doing this for years and years. But he's not. He's literally spoke all these words, said all these things, brought all these boys in, and then just been like, right, Hokuseiho, there's the key. See you later.
yeah. I'll see you tomorrow at training. You know,
Aye, crazy. Absolutely
that's not.
crazy. So, they say
Yeah.
we'll need to see how it pans out. But would you say you're saying that these people said 3 years? Do you agree with that, or would you say longer, shorter? What would you say?
Well, yeah, he could just turn around and said stuff it and just go, because he doesn't need sumo, but I think he wants to change it. I think he wants to change it, and of course, to change anything in the sumo world is almost impossible. So he's going to fight. He's going to have a fight, whatever he does. I really do. I think that.
Right. I think the longest serving, like sort of yokozuna level guy will be Kakuryu. I just feel like he's
Yeah,
going to have it in the bag. He'll probably be end up being the one that's
Kisenasato.
the he'll end up being the head honcho of the GSA.
Well,
Everybody else
Kisenasato is
talks
well
about
on his way right now,
it.
isn't he?
Well,
You
oh,
know,
I suppose so.
He's wearing the
But is
robes. He's judging. He's a shimpan. He's well
I
on his way.
is
He's got
he
the biggest stable.
is
He's got the
is
biggest
I but
stable.
see Kisenasato, but is he going to be able to do that anytime soon as well? Do you know what I
Wow.
mean? Like
He's well
I
on his
think
way. He's keeping his nose clean, and he's getting the best wrestlers that money can buy because he's got the setup. He's got two training rings in there. He's got the best facility. Yeah, he's out of town. But that's a good thing in some ways. You know, um, yeah. So I think he will be the one. I think he will be the one. Who's going to lead the sumo in the future. I think.
I mean I
Head
I'm not
honcho.
disagree I'm not disagreeing with that, but see if that happens, that means that no change will ever come. It'll be
No,
another
that's right.
50 years.
I don't want change.
Right. And but they need I don't want sumo to change, but there is slight changes that need to happen in certain places so that down the road massive things don't need to change. Do you know what I mean? They
The
need
thing
to
is,
bring
the thing is, yeah,
more
the thing
things
is,
in.
people like people like Hakuho want change, and change is always good, all right? But they want to do it now, all right? They don't want to do it slowly, in increments, and so they're always going to butt their heads up against walls.
Yeah, because you have to be the tortoise, you can't be the hare in the race. I
That's
get
right.
that, mate. I get that. That's fair enough. That's fair enough. So Hakuho maybe possibly time limited. Kisenasato no doubt going to be the next top dog in maybe less than 20 year, maybe a wee bit
Oh
more.
yeah, absolutely.
Hokuseiho's an idiot and good riddance to him. And
Yeah.
aye, that's the accumulation of what we've chatted about then, mate. That's fair. That's a fair
Yeah, I can't argue with
evaluation.
that,
Let me ask you about what you think, because obviously I had spoke about Kakuryu when we were just talking, and he's now Otawayama Oyakata. and he's opened
Yeah.
his hair. I did obviously see that Kakuryu's trying to claim Kirishima, and Kirishima wants to obviously go with Kakuryu.
All
And it's
right.
basically supposedly like wrote in pencil but not set in stone. Do you think that that's a sure thing? And do you think that Kakuryu
Oh,
is the key to help Kirishima unlock Yokozuna?
well, yeah. I think so because he's gonna. There's not many people there at the moment in Kakuryu's stable. He's got to build it up, and he's got a lot of time he can spend with him to do it. And Kakuryu was he was the quiet achiever, I think, in as a yokozuna. You know, he didn't have the presence of Hakuho and Haramafuji when he was around and stuff like that. But he was always there, and he always smashed out a good one, a good win every now and then. You know, and he was just the grey man under the radar. And I think he's got a lot to offer. I really do, and I think he can really take Kirishima under his wing and work with him to get there because he needs to knock Terunofuji off to become Yokozuna. I think, not just
Aye.
not just win a couple, right? And Terunofuji is asking for someone to join him. You know, he wants someone else to be the second Yokozuna, but he's got to prove it. They're not just going to throw it at him. Right? Even if he wins it, if he doesn't knock bloody Terunofuji off a couple of times, and Terunofuji smashed him last Basho, then just not going to throw it at him. That's for sure. They need to because I think Terunofuji wants to do one more win, and then I think he'll leave. He wants to be a Dai Yokozuna.
Aye, well, he definitely wants to be a Dai Yokozuna for double digit Yusho. And do you think out of the current Ozeki, well, obviously Terunofuji creates a huge barrier, right? And he might not be
Yeah,
around long enough for Kirishima to build up to the same level as him, which sometimes happens. See, when somebody is just approaching Yokozuna, another Yokozuna dies off, but is still smashing him. So, for instance,
right.
Takanohana smashed Asashoro,
Yes,
but see if
yes,
Takanohana stayed about one more year, Asashoro would have tore him apart. And I think
yes.
it goes the same thing that sometimes a Yokozuna falls off while they're still killing you, and you
I
never
was,
really get the chance, even though you do eventually get to somewhere where you'd beat them. It doesn't
yeah,
matter because you never beat them when you had the chance, and that's how it's so important that you get
it
that
is.
win, and that's
The
why
same thing happened with yeah,
Asashoro always stated that one of his greatest moments was getting that win over Musashi Maru because then at least
that's right.
he defeated a Yokozuna before becoming one himself because he couldn't
That's right.
manage it with
You need
Takanohana.
to do that. You need to do that.
Exactly.
And
I
Terunofuji didn't do that with Hakuho. Hakuho won, and he still got promoted to Yokozuna.
I
All right.
but in Terunofuji's defense,
Yeah.
look at what he done.
Oh
He
yeah.
was winning left, right, and center Yusho in a row. He got like
Yeah.
two. He got like a Yusho and then a junior show to Hakuho, and then won the next two
Yeah.
Yusho, and one of them was a 15 and
Yeah.
0. Do you know what I mean? And before that, he'd won
Yeah.
like another three Yusho. I think, because
That's
I think
right.
he'd got his six Yusho as Yokozuna. Like Yokozuna, he get his six Yusho
Yeah.
after that. Do you know what I mean? So
I think
I think that
I
he
think he
more
can get
than proved that.
regrets.
I
Yeah.
Now see if Kirishima, see in the last Basho, if Kirishima had at least won that Yusho, even if he'd have lost against Terunofuji, but he'd have got a junior show just to Terunofuji instead of
Mm-hmm.
Kotonowaka, or
Yep.
or if he got the Yusho, obviously. But if he'd have get that junior show, I feel like a solid junior show in March would get him Yokozuna. But see,
Yeah.
for him to be considered like in March because he didn't even come second, he would need to get like a 14 and 1 beating Terunofuji or a 15 and 0, and only that Terunofuji they know is about to retire that they'll say, right, give him Yokozuna because he's nearly
That's
there.
right.
And if he
Yep.
doesn't get there by the end of the year, we'll tell him he need to hand the rope back and fuck off. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
But you
So
know, don't be too keen to become a
I
yokozuna because there could be a death sentence,
I
as
I
Kisenasato
let
found out. You know.
Kesho, if he ever got Yokozuna in any of his attempts, would already be retired.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Do you know what I mean? Like
He's
that's the sort of thing.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
see the fans
He's
who
currently
want I see if you're a true Takakesho fan, you don't want him to become Yokozuna because his career
no,
will be less than 2 years after he makes it.
absolutely.
Because to win Yusho and perform top level, he needs to injure himself to be able to
Yeah.
do that. Do you know what I mean? So he's
Oh,
a great
absolutely.
Ozeki. Don't make Takakesho become Wakanahana in the 90s,
No,
where a tremendous Ozeki becomes a lackluster
yeah.
Yokozuna. You do not want that to happen. So, see, when you want your guy to be yokozuna, you need to make sure that they're going to be able to hang for a while, and that's
Yep.
why I do look at Kira now. Hoshuru is very capable as well, but he's not quite there yet. Like he's
No.
not quite leaped ahead as Kirishima is. Um, and Takakesho's I know. Kotonowaka, mate. See if
I know,
Kotonowaka
mate.
keeps up what
Yeah.
he's keeping up. He's
Yeah.
he's had two
Yep.
wins over Terunofuji.
That's right.
Kirishima's
But
never beat Terunofuji.
I don't. Well, he's just a newly promoted Ozeki, and you know what
Aye.
always happens when they're newly promoted? They always have a bad first
I
one.
said it. I said it in my
Yeah.
news video, mate. I literally said at the end of talking about his promotion, I
Yeah.
said, let's hope that Ozeki first Basho curse doesn't get him. Because if that
Oh,
gets you, you go down a wee bit. But mate, if he pulls a Yusho here and then a
yeah.
junior show, that could secure the rope
Oh,
for
that's
him.
it. Yeah,
Do you know what I
absolutely.
mean?
Yeah.
So
But how old is he? How
only
old's the young fella?
like
He's,
I'm gonna say he's 24,
I'll find out, mate. In 97 he was born. So,
26 or 7.
yeah, he's got time.
Aye.
But Takakesho, you know, he's out and then he's in, and he only ever does enough. You know, he's Caravan again. He's probably the most Caravan Ozeki ever.
He is
Yes, but
capable of getting the rope by the right
yep.
circumstances. All the stars
Mm,
align. He is not
yep.
capable of maintaining the rope. That's
No,
the
that's right.
problem. Do you
If
know
he
what I
has to
mean? And
retire,
I,
he'll take a
I,
year off injured because that's his problem. I mean, he hasn't been training hard at all apparently, just doing basic
oh,
stuff. You know,
well, I
so
mean,
no,
there
I
you
don't think
go.
he's fit at the moment. So this could be his. We shall see, but this could be his slow start south.
Aye. I
Poor
don't
Basho.
see Takakesho being on the doyo at 32.
No, no,
Do you know what I mean?
no,
But
no.
Kotonowaka, Kirishima, and Hoshoru, they've got a solid 10 years each,
Oh,
minimum.
yeah, yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah. I'm very impressed with Kotonowaka, but let's see how he
Do
goes, mate. It's
you
the
know who
curse
else
of the.
has got Do you know who else has got great potential, mate? Wakamoto Haru. He
Yes,
absolutely could get to Ozeki, mate. Absolutely,
yeah,
man. Like
absolutely.
I'm really
Yep.
impressed with him, especially his win over Terunofuji because he outmuscled Terunofuji with slighter, better technique, but he definitely outmuscled him.
Well, he had 10 wins,
Uh,
mate, and 10 wins the last Basho, and
he's back to Sekiwaki where he belongs.
yep.
Do you know what I mean?
But
So,
one person that I am watching is Asanayama. Right, he had 9 wins and he had 3 days off.
right,
Last Basho.
again, mate. My Banzuke video, I literally said that he
Yeah,
got he got a 9 with 3 days off. So I mean,
yeah.
take that. That's 9 out of 12. Do you
Mm,
know what I mean? That's basically a 12-3.
that's right.
So
He's not
aye,
far
mate.
off it.
Aye,
So
absolutely.
he's certainly one to watch, and I reckon he's got a bit of a fire in his belly. This boy. No Ozekis almost, and now we got 4, and we got
Aye.
a lot of guys knocking on the door too.
Mate, I'm telling you, see the pool of guys that we just mentioned, Hoshoru,
Yeah.
Kirishima, Wakamoto Haru, Asanayama, Kotonowaka. These are the guys who's going to run the top for the next few years.
Oh yeah.
So
Absolutely.
it's going to be exciting to see because we've not seen the changing of the guard since like between 2008 and 2014.
Mm-hmm.
That was the last time
Yeah.
where it properly all flipped over like this. So because it only
Yeah.
happens once every decade. So it's good to see again, mate.
Yeah. Absolutely. I've got to keep an
Aye.
eye on Asato as well. Got to keep an eye on him.
Aye,
You know.
Onasato is well. That's somebody definitely coming up who's going to be Ozeki Yokozuna levels injury free, but Hakuho as well. We could say
Yeah.
Hakuho as well.
Well,
Both of these
I
guys.
expect
I
him
mean,
to
there is
smash
others
up
as well.
Julia.
I
Yeah.
like. Let's face it, mate. A lot of the guys coming up have got potentials to get to Ozeki Yokozuna, but I would say that,
Yeah.
including Onosato, Hakuho, immediately in the next 5 years, this is your group of guys who are going to be the dominant, like between Sekiwaki and Yokozunas.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Let's talk about the Banzuke and get in about that. May as well start up at Sanyaku and talk
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
the guys up there. So we've already
Yep.
talked about the Ozekis in our last segment. Um, talking about the Aim Kotonowaka and Kirishima and
Yeah.
Takakesho's chances and stuff. Let's move down a wee bit and let's talk about the rest of Sanyaku. Sekiwake, Komusubi, and that. What's your thoughts on the guys there? Abe and Nishikigi and Komusubi. I don't know if Nishikigi might be getting thrown to the wolves a wee bit here or no, because sometimes he does well. Do you know what I mean? So it's
He does.
touch and go.
He does. But he only just got eight wins last time. So I think he's where he should be, and probably shouldn't be any higher. That's what I reckon. I reckon he'll probably be a bit of a yo-yo, buddy, Komusubi, mate. He might just be in Maegashira 2 or 3 next time.
And then Abe
Abby,
is
Abby's the same. He had eight wins as well, so he's only just got there. But Abby can. I reckon he could go higher. I reckon he could. I don't think he'll ever be an Ozeki, or if he is, he's not there for long. But he could certainly go
Do you know
higher.
what we could do, mate? Do you know what would be interesting? Is I sometimes play this game where I mention somebody's name on the Banzuke and you tell me either a word or a sentence to describe them. And I used to do a word, but sometimes like there's only so many words you can use when some guys need the same word. So
I
that's how
can
we
only
can
say cut
sentence.
so many times, mate.
Aye. So let's do that, mate. Let's fire about the Banzuki, and then I'll get your thoughts on guys in a sentence or a word if you want. You can choose, mate. Know what I mean?
Yeah.
So newly promoted, Yusho winner of Juryo last
Yeah.
Basho, Takeru Fuji.
Well, I must say that I just put a poll out, right? And because I put him at the top of the poll, he's got 7% of the votes because I think they all thought he was Terunofuji, because normally he's at the top. All right. So some people are going for him, and I don't think they've really read the question. So he's hopeful. All right. I reckon he'll go midway up the Banzuke. All right, in a couple of year shows. I reckon he's
Listen, I
new
just want to
star
see a
right.
wee. I want to see a bit more from him, but I do think that he will be in the talks with Onasato and Hakuho because
Yes.
he's come up through the same sort of path. And I always, when I say his name, I say Takeru Fuji, like I'm stupid. But see, because of my accent, you don't know if I'm saying Takara Fuji or Takeru Fuji. Do you know what I mean? It sounds the same.
Yeah.
Right, so let's move up to Maegashira 16 then, mate. The ever
Okay.
getting forgetful Endo.
Yeah. Well, he is what he is. I think he'll go up. He's well placed to go up. He's a yo-yo wrestler, definite yo-yo wrestler. If he gets too high in the high Magashiras, he's going back down. And he's a mediocre Rikishi, I think, and that's where he'll always be.
I would say that's fair.
He's got the ability, if he puts it all together, to take out a Yusho.
What about Diamami? One word or a sentence to describe him. What would you choose to say?
Consistently inconsistent.
Well, I know fair, right? Miyagiru.
Oh, yeah. I've got hopes. I've got hopes for him because I think he's too low at the moment. All right, if he puts it all together, he's a solid wrestler. He's solid. Roga, I think should go higher. I think he'll go. I think he'll go well. I think he'll get more than 8 this time.
I mean, he definitely just had a bad Basho last time, and now now he's got another stint sitting at Maegashira 15 with Miyagiru. He's a solid wrestler. I'm sure at one point he was the only person to beat Terunofuji during a Basho, as Terunofuji was coming back up as well, if I'm not mistaken. So see if we jump to Maegashira 14 then. Nishiki Fuji, who just made it back to Maegashira, and Kitano Waka, who also has just made it back to Maegashira, him being he also had won Makanouchi Basho before he went back to Juryo. What's your thoughts on they two guys?
I reckon they'll be struggling, to be quite honest, both of them. I'm not completely convinced on either of them at the moment. I need to see more of them to make a valid judgment, I think, mate. But I reckon they'll go close to 7 or just barely scraping 8 or 9.
So what about Maegashira 13, Ruden and Churanumi?
Ruden can do better, all right, than he's currently at. not completely sure about Chianonumi. I can't even say the name correctly. It's terrible. Yeah, I'll have to hold the fort on that one, I'm afraid, mate. He's got some ability, but he's got to throw it all together.
Fair enough. What about
Yeah.
Maegashira 12, Shonan Umi or Shimazu Umi?
Well, he got 4 last time, so he's probably in the right place. He needs to. Well, he can only go up from here. Well, he can go down clearly, but uh, based on what he got last time, I reckon he'll probably do a mediocre Basho. He'll just get 7 or 8. You know.
Aye, that's fair. See with Shonan Umi, he's such a big guy. I expected a wee bit more for him now that he'd finally made it to the top, but he just doesn't seem to be. He seems to be just a mediocre big guy, like you were saying
Yeah.
about some of the other guys. Do you know what I mean? And I've agreed with most of what you've said as you went down. I've sort of agreed, mate, with everything you've said as well. I would be of the same opinion. So see with Maegashira 11 then, Sadanumi and Ichi Yamamoto. What do you think about Abbey Light and Sadanumi over there?
I think Ichi. Well, Ichi got 5 last time, so how's he going to go this time? Again, he'll probably go break even. I reckon. I don't think he'll go too much better.
He yo-yos with results, so he does. He's dead up and down as well. Because sometimes he can pull out a screamer. You know what I mean? I've seen him getting double digits a couple of times.
Yep.
And
Well,
Sadanumi's just a solid wrestler.
yeah, we got 6 last time, so I expect him to go up a couple this time. I reckon he'll get his 8. Right, at least 8. That'll be nice.
They'll do comfortably at Maegashira 11 anyway, both of the guys. So see if we go to Maegashira 10, 2 former Ozeki sharing the slot of Maegashira
Right.
10. The ever happy face Shodai and
Well,
Mitakumi, who's
I
just the
really
biggest
like
yo-yo.
Shadai, but yeah, I like Shadai, and well, he's mid-range. It's probably where he should be for a little while. He's got the. I mean, he's an ex-Ozeki. He's got the ability if he puts it all together. He only got 4 wins last time, though. I mean, what do you do? So he should be higher. He should be higher, even with all his bad form, he should be higher. Definitely. And
Mitakumi.
Takayumi, well, he got 6, didn't he? I think last time.
Aye.
And he got 6 wins, so he should be better. He should be better. I mean, God, he was pushing for yokozuna once, you know. But he's really fallen down. Hopefully, he can get his crap together and bloody put all his shit in one sock and go for it. You know, I think he can only do better.
That's fair. So Maegashira 9, we've got Hokoto Fuji and Koto Shoho.
Yeah. So he was out injured for 5 days last time, wasn't he? I think he was. Yeah.
Hokoto
He was
Fuji.
out. Yeah, he was absent. Absent for 6 days. So if he's injured, then he's gonna. If he's not injured, that is, if he's fit, then I think he'll do well as long as he's been training. But I haven't heard anything about his training at all. So if
Hokoto
he's
Fuji
fit,
is a solid. He's a solid Kachikoshi guy.
Yeah, that's right. If he's fit, he's going to do well. Right? And
Koto Shoho.
Koto Shoho. Well, he got 9 wins, I think, last time. So yeah, I think he'll go solid. I think he'll get his 8.
So if Maegashira 8, we're at now, mate. Young Onosho, who is just recovering from an injury, but I'm sure he got a solid 9 last Basho, if memory serves.
He got 10.
Takayasu 10. And
He got
Takayasu,
10, but two of those were from absentees. So
and Takayasu, who got injured and had to pull out once again.
If Takayasu was fit and he's fit for the whole Basho, then he'll definitely get his. I think he'll get 10 wins.
Aye. What do you think of them as wrestlers overall? But
he's the one wrestler who's always going to get the Basho, but never does. You know, and I want him so much to win that Basho. He's got the ability to win it, but
the bridesmaid, but never the bride.
That's right. He always seems to drop it in the last match or the last couple of matches, doesn't he?
Aye.
And I'm so disappointed because I'd love to see him win it. I really would.
Aye.
Because I think he deserves to. He's been so bloody good for so long, right? And he was an Ozeki for so long, and he was a bloody good Ozeki when he was there.
Aye. Aye, until he got that elbow injury for Tamawashi,
Yeah,
and he's never been the
that's right.
same again. Never
He's
been the
got
same again.
I think he's got back issues as well now. So,
Aye.
so
Well, speaking of Tamawashi, he's sitting at Maegashira 7 next to the pride of
yes,
Kazakhstan, Kimbozan. What do you think
yeah.
of they two as guys? Nothing but respect for Tamawashi for me.
Well,
He's an
Tamawashi is
Iron
great.
Man.
I mean, he could win the Basho next time because he's done
Aye.
it twice
Aye, oh,
before.
I mean, he could do it. He's a scary guy. He's like an old man in sumo terms, but
Yep.
he could pull it out at any moment at
And
all.
from what I hear, and I'm not sure if it's true, he's only got 3 other guys in his hair, and they all fight him at the same time, so he can get some real training. You know what I mean? They all spar at the same time and fight him at the same time.
So next to him is the man for Kazakhstan, Kimbozan. What's your thoughts on
Yep.
him?
Well, he got 6 last time. He was wasn't he Maegashira 6, I think, last time, and now he's Maegashira 7, so he's gone down just 1. But I think he'll do much the same this time.
What do you think of him as a wrestler?
Yeah, I like him. He's still got a long way to go, I think.
Aye,
I'd like to see
agreed.
him in a couple of years, mate. I think he'll.
Aye.
Oh, it all depends on him, like it always does, on all of them.
Same.
I guess.
Aye, as long as you're injury free and your health stays good, mate, and your motivation is there, then it really depends on you. Absolutely. Do you know somebody with a lot of motivation and determination that I've noticed is Gonayama at Maegashira
Yep.
6, next to Big
Yep.
Suragisho, sorry. So Gonayama, mate, what is your thoughts on him? I know he had a
Well,
bad outing last time.
he
It was
did
bound to
have a
happen,
bad
but
one.
before that, he's been
Yeah.
solid. So him as a
Yep.
wrestler and his future, what's your thoughts on that?
Well, he had 5 wins last time, but now he's fighting in his home turf, and that's always a benefit, isn't it? He's from Osaka, so let's see how he goes.
What do you think he's sumo? But
Yeah, I don't mind it. I think he's strong, but he's a mediocre wrestler. As in, his numbers show that. At Jurio he was dominating, and then as soon as he got into the upper division, he's just getting there. Although when he first got in there, he got 10-5. So. Siriguchi. He's got some work to do, buddy. I think.
fair enough. So at
Yeah.
Maegashira 5, somebody who you made it a point to mention in our last segment sits on the west in one, Onosato of Nishono Sekibeya, and next to him, the king of the Kata Sagashi, Midori Fuji. What is your thoughts first on Onosato?
Onosato is the one to watch. He's gonna either shake it up, and he's going to be in the top. He's going to be in the top, 1 or 2 positions. I'm hoping. All right, all the way up to the last couple of days, and then he's going to fight the big man if he's still around. All right. So I would love to see him take the Yusho. I would love to see someone take the Yusho who doesn't have a top knot.
That'd be amazing, mate, because look, mine when it nearly happened with Ichinojo and they put him against Hakuho, even though he wasn't at a rank where he was allowed to face a yokozuna. But they're like, you're going to need to go and stop him. And Endo nearly done it as well. Not as close as Ichinojo, to be fair, but Endo done it. But Onosato got chucked away because when he fought Terunofuji, he was definitely overwhelmed because instead of doing a tachi, he went in for a hug. I don't know what thought he was doing with opening his arms up like that. That's how you get chucked away. So hopefully he gets another crack at him anyway.
Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely.
I would love to see him, if not take it, go bloody close to taking it just to shake them all up a bit because they need to be shaken up. They need to be shaken up. It
definitely does. Fights need to be had so that training becomes harder, so the fighting becomes harder. Do you know what I mean? So Midori Fuji, the king of the Kata Sagashi, what's your thoughts on him as a wrestler overall?
I like him. He didn't go too well last time, 5-10. you know. But I reckon he'll go much better this time. I reckon he'll get his 8. Hoping, you know.
Right. So at Maegashira 4, we've got Tobizaru and
Yeah,
Hiradumi. See
yeah,
Hiradumi, by the way, although he hasn't got the best scores ever, I really like his sumo. Like
yes,
I genuinely, because he's an attack horse. Like he's always viciously going forward and stuff like that.
yeah,
Like when I've got a lot of respect for Hiradumi's sumo, and obviously everybody loves Tobizaru. He's a wee
yeah,
mental
yeah.
case. Do you know what I mean? He's all over the place. Love it. Absolutely
So
love his style. Not
Toby
my
didn't.
favorite wrestler, but I like his sumo. What's your
No,
thoughts?
well, he can beat anybody on a good day. Everybody's scared of him. You know, how
Mm-hmm.
many times has he beaten Terunofuji?
Aye,
Terunofuji for a while hadn't beaten him, I think. But yeah, he's scared shitless of him. Yeah,
absolutely. So see if we go to Maegashira 3, we've got Takanosho, and then
yep,
we've got Sumo Purebred Prodigy, Oho, who is
yep.
obviously the
I like
grandson of Taiho.
Yep, like Oho. Um, you know, he got 10 wins last time, and I think he'll get the same again or close to it, and that's good. That's bloody good. You know, yeah, 9 or 10, 9 or 10. He's solid. He's
Aye,
solid.
aye.
Yeah,
And Takanosho, I would say he's comfortably where he should be. He's sort of a Sanyaku yo-yo guy. He should be up and down for
yeah.
there. That's sort of he's in the right place, I'd say.
Yep. He gets eights, sevens, sixes, and a 10.
Aye,
That was his last time. You know, so I'm
aye.
expecting him
He's an
probably
okay
he'll
wrestler.
go on the fringe.
Aye,
He'll either get his catchy or you'll just be under it this time.
aye.
Yeah.
Now, here's somebody who should have been in the discussion of people at the top of Sanyaku later on.
Yeah.
Maegashira 2 East, Atami Fuji for Isigahama Bear.
Oh
What is your
yes.
thoughts on him?
Oh, he had a terrible year show last time, didn't he?
Hmm.
I don't know what it was. I mean, you know, what was just too much partying? I don't know.
I
Has
mean,
he dropped the
maybe,
ball
mate.
somewhere? Yeah.
I
Yeah.
listen. Sometimes they just do have bad bashos and all. Like not everybody can be perfect, so it could literally be just maybe he has a couple of bad basho here or there, and
And he had
that
so many
doesn't
good
really.
ones before that.
I was going to say that you have so many good ones before and after. The odd
Yeah.
bad one doesn't really matter. And
So
do you know the guy next to him on the west is
yeah.
Macy, who
Yep.
is just one of the biggest yo-yos I've ever seen. He spends most of his time like for Maegashira 3 and above or Maegashira 10 and below. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah, that's right.
What's your
I mean,
thoughts on him?
well, he got 9 last time. Before that, he got a 4 and then a 7. So yeah, I reckon he's going down. He's going down.
Aye,
You'd be lucky to get
fair.
his 8 this time.
Aye, that's
Yeah.
fair. Now we've only got a couple of guys left to talk about on the Banzuke because, of course, you and I
Yep.
talked about the Seki. We talked about the Sekiwakis and the
Yeah.
Ozeki and the Yokozuna. So we'll just really need to touch on them. Um,
Yeah.
so next up in that would be Ura, Sumo's Elastic Man.
That's
What
right.
is your thoughts on Ura and his
Um,
position about where he is? Now we've obviously mentioned him, and next to him is former Ozeki Asanayama.
Asanayama is the one to watch. I reckon he's on a mission to
Mm-hmm.
get back up to Buddy Ozeki. So you give him 3 bashos, and I reckon he'll be there. All right, or maybe 4 because of the 33 wins and that sort of stuff, which they want. But end of the year, I could see him being an Ozeki again. I've got absolutely no doubt that he can do it again. Ura, he's a definite yo-yo. You know, he Senyaku is not his place. He got there last time, but straight away he's out. And I think he'll do that again. You know, he'll go down a couple of places, and then he'll come back up again. You know, he's been knocking at the door, but I don't think he'll ever get above Konosubi.
Now, of course, we did talk about everybody else. One guy who we didn't talk too much about because we were coming to the end of the segment was Daesho, who you had mentioned. So I just
Yeah.
want to get your thoughts on him, and I am obviously we'll chat about his thing with Sekiwaki.
Well, I think Daisho is pretty much where he should be. He's a solid performer. How long has he been in Senyaku for now?
I just hate him. I
Yeah,
hate him.
yeah,
I honestly
yeah.
hate his
You
face,
could
mate. I
do
hate his face.
it.
I hate the bandages. that he
I
puts
like it.
Vaseline on his elbows first so they slip off. And the minute
Yeah, yeah,
somebody touches his bandage, they just fall to
yeah.
bits.
Is
Do
that
you know what I
right?
mean? Like
Yeah, yeah,
they're
yeah.
just there so
That's
his
it,
elbows
yes.
can't be grabbed. He's not
It
even
happens
got
at
sore elbows. I'm
Fuji.
telling you, it's a
Yeah.
conspiracy. It's a conspiracy. I'm telling you all now. You need to listen to me. There's nothing wrong with Daisho's elbows. He's just putting the
No,
Vaseline there, an extra
yeah,
fucking thin, easy tear off. It's probably bits of paper, probably paper mache coming right off
ah,
in people's hands. Anytime somebody touches an elbow, they're falling backwards. He's shoving them, and his
yeah.
bandages are coming back down to
Okay.
earth. Shocking behaviour.
I'll put Vaseline on my buddy elbows too if it helps me beat Fuji. It has a couple of times, you know. Oh, yes.
Like I
Crap out
mate.
of him. Elbow came off.
So I just don't like. I don't know what it is about him, mate. I just think
Me
that it
too.
annoyed me. One time I seen these bandages coming off in Kirishima's hands,
Yeah,
Wakamoto Haru's hands, and
yeah,
Terunofuji's hands, but they had a grip of his elbows, but the
yeah.
bandages come off, and I'm like, that shouldn't be allowed.
Oh, okay. Well, look past the elbows.
They
He's not.
should
He's not.
be.
He's not a
I,
Sekiwaki because he's hopeless.
I, No, he's a sekiwaki because he's got easy come off bandages and nobody can grab the elbows of the arms that are trying to push them out. So if they can't grab the arms, he can continue pushing. That's why he's
Vaseline
a
on the
sekiwaki.
Vaseline
What
on the
company?
elbows will only get you so far.
What company of bandages does Daisho use? You guys find that out and maybe let them know that he's what to call them for a bit of sponsorship because he made
Yeah,
sekiwaki
yeah.
through the help of their bandages.
Oh dear,
Cheating bastard.
that's beautiful. I love that, mate. Well, he's been, yeah,
No, listen, no harm to him. He's a solid,
yeah,
solid Oshi
good.
fighter. He is, mate. I
But
can't take it away from him. Do you know what I mean?
he's
It's
been
happened
he's
maybe
been
a
in
handful of
Senyaku.
times. Aye.
He's been in
See, compared to
Senyaku
whatever he's
for a
done.
year now. All right, he's been in Senyaku for a year, so he does. I reckon he deserves to be there. He can beat anybody on a good day, but and he always gets his eight. He always gets his eight, mate. So he's solid. He deserves to be where he is. Does he deserve to be
Thank,
Ozeki? No, he probably doesn't. Not yet. All right,
thank you,
not yet.
bandages, eh?
No, but I'll have a word to him and see if we can give him some more Vaseline. Yeah. Can never
Oh,
have enough Vaseline, Scott. You should know that.
oh, well, aye, mate. I mean, that's a given. But when things start coming off in people's hands, you know what I mean? What, just seeing the Basho, I bet you it happens. See, as soon as it happens, I'm sending you the clip. That's it.
Yeah,
Let's see.
yeah.
Proof. You're supporting
Yeah,
the wrong guy.
oh, yes, I'm supporting Sumo. Sumo is the winner here
Of
today.
course, mate. Absolutely.
Yeah,
So let me ask you this, mate. Who is the
yeah.
next yokozuna?
Everyone wants to say. Everyone wants me to say Kirishima. I reckon Asanayama.
Wow, you fucking bitch. I can't believe you didn't just say Kirishima there and went for Asanoyama. You
Uh,
traitorous bastard, by the way. This is World of Sumo. Do you know what my followers are going to react like when they hear you not saying Kirishima?
I know. I
Oh,
know. No, to be
right,
quite
mate.
honest, I think
Uh,
he probably will be. He's been set up for it, and he's certainly got all the skills. I'm just
aye.
yeah,
Mm.
I'm just just being the
But
evil
you, but
guy.
you think Asanoyama will make Yokozuna next? He'll be the 74th.
Well, no,
Fair.
no,
That's fair.
no, no.
Well,
I
well,
don't think he'll be the 74th, but I reckon that's into the future. But I think he's possible. He could do it if he's healthy. He'll do it.
aye. So who's the
He'll do it.
74th Yokozuna?
I can tell you who it isn't. Takakeisho. It's not him. Probably, yeah, Kirishima. Um, everyone's everyone wants it. Just because you want it, though, doesn't mean it's going to happen. That's for sure.
No, listen, Broom.
Yeah,
I have listened for that boy walked into
yeah,
my Zumo, and
yeah,
I think it was because he doesn't have that normal Mongolian look.
yep.
And I was like, he's got a weird shape of face for a Mongolian, and that's what made me like know who he was. So I watched a couple of his underbouts, and I was like, you can tell this boy is really adept at judo. He might actually do well here. And then see
Yeah.
after he got a couple of wee ranks up me, I was like, I'm telling you, this boy's going to be a bloody yokozuna. And that's when he
Mm.
was in like John Akuchi
Yeah,
or Sandan May or something like that. I've been shouting that in my videos, and people can go back in my videos and check. Do you know what I mean? I've
yeah.
been saying it for ages. So I'm telling you, but mate, I just something is telling me he is the 74th or 75th yokozuna. He is.
Well, yeah. I hope he is.
Aye.
I hope he is. Yeah.
But with that, Brim, that is all we've got time for this
Oh,
episode of the World of Sumo podcast, mate. I do really appreciate you coming on and
it's been
talking
a
sumo with
pleasure,
me, mate.
Scott.
It's always a pleasure catching up with you, mate. Me and you have been friends for years and years now, and we've always had a really good, fun relationship and always had a laugh. So it is always good to catch up with you, mate. And I do appreciate you coming on and joining us and talking a lot of crap about sumo with me.
Oh yeah, I can do that well. I can talk crap. It's always a pleasure, Scott. Thanks very much, mate. It's an honour.
No bother at all, mate. No bother at all. Thanks very much. And with that, Sumo fans, that's all we've got time for. Thank you so much for watching and listening. Please join us on the next one. And always remember to like, subscribe, hit that bell. Oh, what a nugget!